Hey, how you doing, guys? My name is Adam, and I wanted to start doing some videos about D&D, but I didn't know what I wanted to talk about because there's a lot of people who also do D&D videos that are a lot better than me, and I didn't want to go and just, pretty much regurgitate all the stuff that they said. So I kind of wanted to talk about D&D from my experience with classes, spells, and also just experiences as a player, and what I have, pretty much learned, and pretty much just start a conversation. So, if you know me, I understand that you probably thought the first thing I was going to go and talk about is warlocks because they are my favorite class in D&D. Not the best class. That will go to the cleric, and that's a different video for a different time. But I wanted to talk about a spell that I think gets a lot of criticism from DMs, and from a player standpoint, they just love this spell. So it's a hate love for this spell, and that's Silvery Bard. So I'm going to assume that you know what the spell is, but if you don't, I will say it. And luckily for me, I got it on my computer right here. You magically distract the triggering monster and turn its momentary uncertainty into encouragement for another creature. The triggering creature must re-roll a d20 and use the lower roll. You can choose a different creature that you can see within range, or yourself. The chosen creature has advantage on the next attack roll, ability check, or saving throw it makes within 1 minute. Okay, so this spell is a level 1 spell. And in my experience of playing, a lot of DMs ban the spell altogether because they feel that it's just too broken. Players love this spell, and I can see why. It's very, very powerful. So there's a lot of hate and love for this spell. So what I've learned from from playing with the spell and also being in a party of somebody else that's playing the spell, and usually it's from bards, sorcerers, and wizards. Those are the three classes that can use this spell. Most players that use this spell use it for crits. So if an enemy or themselves get hit with a crit, they usually use their reaction to Silvery Bards to reroll, which is the smart thing to do because getting hit with a crit sucks, especially if you're a wizard or sorcerer. If you're a wizard or sorcerer and you get hit with a crit, chances are you're dead, especially at lower levels. Like you get hit with a crit, you're gone. It is what it is. So you use that for it. And 90% of the time, most people, when the DM goes and hits a play with a crit, they're going to get Silvery Bar. And I have noticed that some DMs get annoyed with it, and it kind of makes it feel like, damn, like, why do you want to hit me with a crit? Like, you are aware if I get hit with this crit, I'm gonna die. But sometimes DMs, some DMs were also players, and just as excited that you're excited when you hit a monster with a crit. I think some DMs also get happy when they hit something with a crit, and they can do massive damage with a monster and stuff. So I can understand why they could get a little disappointed when you Silvery Bars them. Like, oh, you got a crit, Silvery Bars. Ah! So I can kind of understand that. And that kind of makes it feel like it's a DM versus player type game, which it could never be fun because as the DM, you pretty much have as the DM, if you want to win, you could win. I mean, you could send a beholder at a level 4 party and just kill him if you wanted to. So that's never fun. But at the same time, when players just I have had party members forget to use not I don't think they forgot to use their mage armor. They chose not to use mage armor because they wanted to save that level 1 spell slot for Silvery barbs. I know that. Um, so there are also some people that do feel that Silvery barbs is not. You don't need to ban that spell because it, as a DM, you kind of could play around it, which I do see. Because if you cast Silvery barbs, use your reaction. That means you're not going to use your reaction for shield, which is sometimes the smarter bet because, all right, you're forcing a creature to re-roll. All right, they're not going to hit you with a crit, but if they re-roll, they can hit you. And if you're a wizard, I don't care. You don't want to get hit, like at all. Like as a wizard, but especially early levels, any hit is going to put you at death's door. Like any hit, you get hit one time and you're like, all right, you only take 10. You're on life support. You're like, oh my God, I'm at 10 life. Help me, please, cleric, help, help, help. So, using shield sometimes is the better option, but players just want to they rather you take reroll, use silvery barbs and just reroll it. I don't think the spell needs to be banned, but I do feel like it needs to be reworked. I don't feel that spell should be a level 1 spell because with Silvery Bards, especially if you're a wizard, you can use this spell all the time. Hell, as a level 1 spell at high levels, you could cast Silvery Bards for free. You know how annoying that would be for as a DM, because I think that's the biggest issue. Is just like when players make a character, I don't think they go and ask themselves, if I was the DM, would I want to have a game with the character I made? Because sometimes we make some really, really, really annoying characters. Like, oh my God, like this character just like, hey, you ain't gonna do nothing to me, haha. Have I made characters that were that annoying? Yes, I am guilty of it. And I had to kind of step back and look and say, do I want to play this character? Like, if I was the DM, would I want to have a player with this character that I just made? If the answer is no, I would say make a little adjustment so your character isn't as annoying, or just play it. But you know what? I'm getting sidetracked. I'm here to talk about the spell. And as I said, should this spell be banned? I don't think the spell should be banned. I'm thinking about it. I'm not. You would think I feel like I should have wrote a script for this, but it's one of those confusing things because players want the spell until, as a DM, you give monsters that spell. Do you know how salty a player is when that player gets a crit and all of a sudden you still rebards them? I honestly think that is more annoying than monsters having counterspell. I really think that is. I think on the level of 1 to 10 of how to make your players as salty as hell, I think Silvery Barge would be number 1, then counterspell. Even though Silvery Barge is annoying. Like, yes, I got a crit. Oh, that's great. You got a crit. Reroll that. And, oh, man. So, I do feel like the spell needs to be banned in games. I do feel like it's not healthy. It's not healthy for the game, personally. Yes, you can play around it, but I feel like as a DM, if you gotta play around a spell that multiple people could take, because that's another thing. If you have a wizard, a sorcerer, and a bard in your party, all 3 of them could take that spell. And I have seen games where all 3 of them have used that spell in the same turn against a monster. So Personally, I just feel like that's. I understand if a DM bans that spell and it just makes the game healthy, because if you want to put that spell in the game and you tell your players, well, if you got the spell, so do the enemies. The players are not going to be happy about that spell. They're not going to be happy if they get silvery barbs at all. If I got a crit, so or there's a save that the freaking monster go there's an attack that the monster goes forces the player to make a save. They pass it. They're like, oh my god, I only got +1 in this category. Oh man, and they actually make it. And you say, silvery barbs. That player is just going to be salty. So because of the saltiness that I see this spell cause both players and DMs, I just feel that just ban the spell. Or if you're not going to ban the spell, make it a level 3 spell. I say a level 3 spell is fair for this. Yeah, because of the fact is, with high levels with wizards, and the fact that they can have a spell they can use spells for free. I think making it at a higher level will stop it from being abused at higher levels. And I think at lower levels, it's just not it's just not fun. From a DM standpoint, it's not fun. From a player standpoint, it is abused all the time. Like, I think that spell is a wizard will use that spell before they use shield. They will do that. And I mean, granted, the spell is very, very good. It is a very, very good spell. But sometimes a spell could be too good. And I think for what the spell could do at its level, with the classes that have access to that spell, I just feel that, hey, the spell should be banned. And I feel like if that spell is banned from your game, I think it will promote a healthy level of it. Now, if you're a DM that wants to keep the spell in the game because you're one of those, I call it like player friend. I don't even like using player friendly DM, but you're the type of DM like, hey man, as the play, do what you want. Go ahead. Just know how to play around this spell. Understand that if they use their reaction for Silvery Bards, that means they can't use their reaction for shield or any shield or counterspell, and especially counterspell for the wizard. So, and be able to kind of play around it. And when I say play around that spell, I'm not talking about like, as a DM, you're trying to punish the player. But if you're having an encounter and you want it to be challenging, understand that spell can, any drama or excitement that you have in that encounter, that one spell could take it all away from it. So that is my opinion on that spell. I do want to hear your feedback of it. Do you feel like that, DMs shouldn't ban that spell? Do you feel like it needs to be reworked? I want to hear your feedback on it. Let's start a conversation about it and stuff. And please tell me your experiences with that spell, both good or bad. So this is Adam. This is my first video, one of many. And nice talking to you guys, and hope to talk to you again soon. Peace.